Prayer of the Psalmists. A negative perspective became positive just by spending time with God. Prayer is talking to God. Genesis 4 verse 26b says, "Then men began to call on the name of the Lord." Men talking to God predates organized religion as we know it today. The Bible offers guidance about how we should pray, starting with thanksgiving, praise, and worship as found in the Lord's Prayer. The Psalms are a collection of conversations between people and God, either as songs or poems. When reading the Psalms, pay attention to the motivations, emotions, accusations, and the complete change in perspective as the psalmist came into the presence of God. We might read a psalm and see it as a prayer that lasted for a few minutes, but in reality, it could have been over an extended period of time. Some of the psalms were a conversation between the writer and God with little reference to another person. Psalms 3 verse 1 says, "Many are they that rise up against me." Psalms 7 verse 2 says, "Save me from those who persecute me." Psalms 18 verses 16 to 18 describe how he was delivered from strong enemies who hated him. In this same psalm, the writer expressed sorrow and fear. There are also instances where the psalmist was asking God for rescue from the enemy. Psalm 10, verse 13, says, "Arise, O Lord, confront him, cast him down." Psalms 28 verse 4 says, "Give them what they deserve." Psalms 35 verses 1 to 3, the writer asked God to draw up a spear and obliterate the people that strive with him. Psalms 41 is the prayer of a man who was sick and felt disappointed at what his friends were saying, and he was asking God to heal him so that he could repay them. Repay them with what? There are also false accusations, or maybe an honest expression of how the writer felt. Psalm 10, verse 1, says, "Why do you stand afar off, O Lord? Why do you hide in the time of trouble?" Psalms 13 started with, "How long will you hide your face from me?" 22 started with, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you far from helping me?" Even if it is not true, at least they are an expression of how the writer felt. In many instances, the psalmist starts on a negative note, but his perspective became upbeat and uplifting just by spending time with God. Psalm 12 started with a complaint that godly men cease and the faithful disappear. The poor are oppressed, but ended with, "You shall keep them, O Lord." Psalms 10 started with how the Lord is far off and hiding in the time of trouble, but later remembered that the Lord is king forever and will do justice to the fatherless. The Psalm 41 mentioned earlier ended with, "And set me before your face forever." This was a bitter man who came to ask for healing so that he could exert revenge. Now he just wants to be before his face. Although the writers often see God's silence as indifference, they also have many encouraging and timeless things to say about God. Psalms 9 verse 10 says, "The Lord has not forsaken those who seek him." 11 verse 7, "For the Lord is righteous. He loves righteousness. His countenance beholds the upright." Psalms 24 verse 1, "The earth is the Lord's and all its fullness." 27 verse 13, "I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." These extracts show us how people have wrestled with God in their prayers. The emotions were raw, the frustrations were real, the situations were dire, but instead of taking out their fears, frustrations, and disappointments on others, they brought them to the Lord. The changes in perspective also show that somehow, by talking with the Lord, they changed. What we see in the Psalms is that when it comes to talking with God, there are no restrictions on expressing how we feel, what we think, or even what we are asking the Lord to do. We can even talk to God in a song. The psalmists were honest and authentic in their conversations with God. This is only possible if there is a relationship close enough that they could be vulnerable before their Maker. It is encouraging to say the least that God understands the feelings of his children when life is happening to them. We also saw the benefits of coming to God in prayer. We can bring all to the Lord in the words that we have, even if they are filled with frustrations, fear, anger, and requests for retributions. The Lord will still listen to them. Sometimes the Lord changes us, changes the situation, or both. We can also write down the request and include what we think God might be saying to us about them. Over time, we would have written our own psalms. God bless you.